Explosion in Rome. Jack Draper unleashed all his frustration in an intense duel against Carlos Alcaraz, and the tension reached its peak when the umpire had to intervene. What started as a promising match for the Brit ended in drama, shouting, and a brilliant comeback by the Spaniard. In a clash full of emotions, Alcaraz kept his cool while Draper, visibly frustrated, lost control. So, what exactly happened in this explosive quarterfinal showdown at the Rome Masters 1000? The match began with Draper taking control. Confident with his serve and aggressive from the baseline, he managed to go up 4-2 in the first set. He seemed to have the rhythm, the initiative, and Alcaraz on the defensive. But then, the Spaniard brought out his best version. With incisive, solid tennis and impeccable mental strength, he turned the match around, winning 4 consecutive games to take the set 6-4. That shift was the trigger for what came next, Draper's emotional collapse. Feeling outplayed, the Brit began to show his frustration. He smashed his racket, yelled into the air, and uttered strong words that shocked the officials and the crowd. When Alcaraz broke his serve at the start of the second set, Draper exploded verbally, forcing the umpire to step in. Amid the tension, the umpire asked him to calm down and reminded him to control his behavior. But by then, the match had already slipped away emotionally. Though Draper tried to regroup, Alcaraz's comeback had shaken his confidence. The Spaniard, calm and composed, continued executing his game plan with surgical precision. Each point won by Alcaraz was another dagger to an unraveling Draper. Despite a brief attempt at a comeback, he never regained control of the match. In the end, the Mercian closed the second set 6-4 as well, sealing his place in the semifinals and leaving behind one of the most tension-filled matches of the tournament. The loss is a hard blow for Draper, who came to Rome riding high after his win over Alcaraz in Indian Wells. His progress throughout the season has been clear, but this time, pressure and emotion worked against him. His on-court anger has sparked debate. Can his temperament be a double-edged sword? The talent is there, but emotional stability will be key if he wants to remain among the elite. Alcaraz, for his part, once again proves why he's one of the best in the world. Not just because of his technical skills, but because of his emotional intelligence. He withstood Draper's early surge, handled the crowd pressure, and kept a cool head amid the chaos. It was a match with epic undertones, and he came out victorious with authority. The duel between Carlos Alcaraz and Jack Draper in Rome gave us much more than a result. It was a battle of styles, of emotions, and of maturity. Alcaraz showed that, beyond talent, he has enviable composure. Draper, on the other hand, displayed his passion and power, but also revealed that his emotional control still needs work. The loss is tough, but it can also be a valuable lesson for the Brit, who remains one of the most exciting prospects on the tour. If he can channel that intensity with discipline, the future can still be bright. Carlos Alcaraz is already in the semifinals of the Rome Masters 1000, but the road doesn't stop there. His next obstacle is none other than the tournament's breakout star, Lorenzo Musetti. The young Italian has eliminated the defending champion Alexander Zverev and arrives in top form, backed by his home crowd and hungry for glory. The clash between these two explosive talents with unique styles promises to be an unforgettable semifinal. Can Alcaraz stop Musetti at his best? Alcaraz's path to the semifinals hasn't been easy. In the quarterfinals, he faced Jack Draper, one of the trickiest players on the tour, and did so under tough weather conditions, with strong wind making every point difficult. Draper even broke his serve early on, but the Mercian responded with composure, patience, and smart tactics. He relied on drop shots, mixed up the pace, and ended up winning convincingly 6-4 in just under an hour and 40 minutes. It was a demanding match, but perfect to test his composure and physical strength ahead of what's to come. Now, the challenge intensifies. In the semifinals, he faces Lorenzo Musetti, the man of the moment in Rome. The Italian just pulled off one of the tournament's biggest upsets by eliminating the defending champion, Alexander Zverev, in 2 tight sets, 7-6-1, 6-4. He saved 4 set points in the first set and broke the German's serve at the perfect moment in the second. Musetti showed a mix of elegance, power, and composure that makes him a very dangerous opponent, especially playing at home with the crowd behind him every point. This matchup between Alcaraz and Musetti won't be their first, but it will be very different from their previous encounter. They recently faced off in Monte Carlo, with a win for the Spaniard, although that match was affected by physical issues that limited the Italian's performance. Now, Musetti is at full strength, and he proved it against Zverev, confirming that what he achieved at the 2024 Paris Olympics, where he also beat the German on clay, was no fluke. The key to the match will be the early stages. Musetti often starts strong and with high emotional energy. If Alcaraz can neutralize him early and take control of the pace, he can impose his dominant baseline game. But if the Italian comes out confident and finds the lines with his one-handed backhand, the match could turn into a high-level technical and mental battle. It will also be a duel between the Spaniard's adaptability and the Italian's offensive flair, both with very different yet equally effective styles on clay. Pressure will also play a role. Alcaraz arrives with the expectation of confirming his status as the favorite and moving on to another title, while Musetti faces the pressure of playing at home, but also the motivation of having the Foro Italico crowd fully behind him. It's a duel that goes far beyond rankings. It's a generational battle between two young stars already making their mark, looking to leave a legacy at one of the most historic tournaments on the tour. Carlos Alcaraz now faces one of the biggest challenges of the tournament, stopping the rise of an unstoppable Lorenzo Musetti on home soil. The semi-final between them is shaping up to be one of the most exciting moments of the Rome Masters 1000, a true test of talent, focus, and competitive spirit. Both arrive in top form, with very different styles and the same goal, to reach the final. In a tournament where every point counts, only one will move on. And this duel will surely feel like a final itself. Carlos Alcaraz has made it clear, he wants Sinner in the Rome final. The Mercian hasn't hidden his desire to face the world number one on the grand stage of the Italian Masters 1000. Both are advancing confidently on separate sides of the draw, but with the same goal in sight, a clash that would stop the tennis world in its tracks. After months without facing each other, the tour is preparing for an explosive reunion between the two powerhouses of the new generation. Are we witnessing the beginning of a historic rivalry? Carlos Alcaraz has been clear, his goal in Rome is not just to lift the trophy, it's to face Jannik Sinner in the final. The Spaniard is already in the semifinals after a convincing win over Jack Draper, and now faces a new challenge, Lorenzo Musetti. The Italian is on fire after knocking out defending champion Alexander Zverev and will be looking to avenge the loss he suffered to Alcaraz in Monte Carlo. Even so, the Mercian enters as the favorite, backed by his physical form, competitive rhythm, and a special motivation, the chance to reunite with Sinner on the final day of the tournament. On the other side of the draw, Jannik Sinner has returned in surprisingly strong form. After 3 months of inactivity due to a doping suspension, the Italian hasn't dropped a single set on his way to the quarterfinals. But now he faces his biggest test, Casper Ruud, fresh off a title in Madrid and playing at his highest level. If he beats the Norwegian, Sinner would then have to face either Tommy Paul or Hubert Hurkacz in the semis, two tough opponents, but ones he has beaten before.